Hi guys, so as some of you are aware and some of you can imagine, gang stalking online is probably one of the hardest forms of abuse to prove. Over the last 8 years, this is exactly what's been happening to me with certain bubbles within the independent film industry. It seems some of these actors who are well over the age of 40 still think they're on the school playgrounds. Now, this all stems back 2017 when I fell out with a guy called Clark Tribe. Then, for some reason, unbeknown to me, his little friend Mason Fardo fell out with me. It seems now that Mason Fardo is the front guy for all the harassment online. So today I'm going to put this little video together just to show you the extent of the abuse I have to put up with from Mason, and to prove that all his lies are lies and that his flying monkeys do in fact exist. So if you're new to what's going on, you can go back onto my YouTube channel. There is 8 years worth of documentaries and stories that I've put together with the evidence. Every time these men attack me online or get one of their flying monkeys to contact me, I document it and I stick it on YouTube. Over the last 8 years, this has created a channel, and what you will see is that everybody in these channels are connected to certain platforms on Facebook, YouTube, and other social media platforms. As I explained in my documentary, My Turn, this all stemmed back in 2017 when I fell out with Clark Tribe. He then went on to create a little hate gang, telling all sorts of lies about me to get people to target me online. I ended up having quite a lot of insane people contacting me that didn't know both sides of the story. They just decided to listen to these two men and go all out. So we have Hayley Spain. She was the most recent one last night, and for the last couple of weeks I've kept seeing this name pop up in my stories. I always think it's a little odd when you see a non-follower repeatedly turn up looking at your stories and on your profile. So I checked her out, and it turns out she is in fact friends with Mason Fardo. So I messaged her just like I did when Stacey, I can't remember her surname, sorry, the blonde lady, the crazy Stacey one that messaged me, the one threatening to kill me and break my legs for Clark. That one. Yeah, basically she's friends with this Hayley Spain as well. So I let Hayley Spain know exactly that I know who she is and what she's up to, and I know exactly what's going on. And she's tried the Darvo. So she's trying to deflect and she's trying to put it all onto me, and then she's trying to reverse victim blame and shame. And, Mason's the victim, apparently. I'm the one that's horrible. So what I've done tonight is I've just put a handful of the messages that Mason has sent me and a handful of the messages that Mason has put up online about me. So you can see for yourself that I am not the one out there being abusive and trying to ruin someone's career. I'm simply retaliating, damage control, you could say, every time these people do something. So this Hayley Spain ended up messaging me back this morning. She said that she didn't know me, and the reason why she was in my stories was because I was in her People You May Know. Well, obviously, if you know Mason and he's been stalking and stuff and you're connected to the film industry, you're going to know people that I know. That doesn't mean you get to come in and start snooping when you know for a fact, Hayley, what Mason's been up to. So, I mean, you say that you don't know me and you don't want to know me, and then you throw a few digs in there and, try to put me down, have a go at me for loving myself. And then you mention how Mason feels about me. So you obviously do know who I am, don't you, Hayley? So Hayley got blocked after that because I haven't got time for idiots. She then later on, about 3 hours later, was back in my stories with a different name. So I'm thinking it's a second account, I'm supposing. Hayley Mortoni, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, this just goes to show that they're all a bunch of liars, and they do target victims online. So over the last 8 years, I've had so many of these flying monkeys. If you go on my YouTube channel, like I said, they have their own little program of each thing that they've done. And this is some sick stuff. We're talking rape threats, death threats, trying to put it around the internet that I lied about a rape. Here you can see the text message my rapist sent the next day. They said that I lied about suing a guy in court that made my life hell for over 2 years, trying to steal the copyright for my work. You can see here it's the paperwork when I sued Christopher Smith, which was a really hard time for me, and was actually part of the abuse because the guy that stole my film is a part of this little clique. So, like I said, these are all 40, 50, 60-year-old plus people. Half of them aren't even in the independent film industry. Mason has enabled all of this. I wouldn't have known any of these people if it wasn't for Mason slagging me off all over the internet. You can see here Mason is trying to tell people not to work with me. He's putting me down. There's been messages where he's body shamed me. There's been messages where he's told me he loves me. He calls me all sorts of names. And, you know, I just haven't got time for people with that kind of energy. He's very spiteful and vindictive. I did try to give him the time of day about 2 years ago when he messaged me regarding the trolling that was going on with this Christopher Smith before the court case came. But Mason didn't want to believe me. He made out he did, and then the next day he was back online slagging me off to people. Not long after that, I had Stacey Busher, sorry, I remembered her name, Stacey Busher, threatening to kill me, break my legs, because I told her that I knew she was connected to Clark when she messaged me out of the blue wanting to be my friend. So a lot of these people on these platforms, they're very catfishy, trolly. They'll set up fake accounts. They'll leave comments on your walls. Sometimes they're not horrible. They'll just message you trying to get information about it, or they'll mention Mason. As you can see here, I've had other people message me saying they've also been bullied by Mason. So yeah, as we go, I'm no longer letting these people get to me, and I'm not letting their nasty words have any effect on me because I'm too busy, and two, like, have we seen the people talking? It's not really much to be worried about anymore. Now I've debunked his lies, I'm just hoping that people can now start to see that this guy is evil. It's not correct behavior for a 50 plus guy to be going around bullying a woman hard. Like, I mean, I'm about 15 years younger than him. And he's literally putting all this effort into slagging me off. He's then bringing in a guy called Andy Howarth, who I've never met, never spoken to. He's trying to get people not to work with me, calling me a poisonous witch, amongst other things. But like I said, I don't know any of these people. This is all through Mason Fardo. And like I say, if you want to look over all the behaviour, I haven't got time to put it all in one video tonight because it's already on my YouTube. And I think that's what he's pissed with. I think he's pissed off the fact that I've documented everything. I've shared it all so people can see exactly what he is. Other people have come forward. And he's got this tiny little group that he's managed to sort of convince that he's this superstar Hollywood actor that's going places. And they're all just falling at his feet, thinking that I'm some, you know, I don't know what he's tried to make out like I'm some sort of obsessed fan and I won't leave him alone. It's ridiculous. I'm too busy running productions and working with actors that actually deserve my time and who I enjoy being around, rather than spiteful, vindictive, nasty monsters who just want to cause trouble because they're so toxic. And like I say, if you go through these messages, you will see exactly who the person is that is toxic. I just want to be left alone by this guy. You'll see in the messages that I read through in a minute that he states that the police aren't going to do anything, that I'm not going to go to the police, that I need to be blacklisted from the industry. He's basically writing down everything that he wants. He doesn't own the film industry and he doesn't get to stamp his feet If he doesn't like me, leave me alone. But that doesn't mean you get to have an effect on my life. And you most certainly don't have an effect on telling me who I can and can't work with. I've had quite a few actors come to me and tell me that Mason has tried to get them to not work with me. A few of them haven't actually listened to him, which I really do appreciate that, guys. And I hope you can see exactly what's going on. I think the more he does do now, I've shared all this stuff, it's going to become more apparent that his game is a game, and it's all out to try and ruin me. And I've worked too hard. I'm not going to let some old man try and ruin my work or my life or whatever it is he's planning to do with these little flying monkeys. It's pathetic. So yeah, here we go, guys. Let's look at some of Mason Fido's messages. So these messages do seem to ramble on a bit, and the grammar is really poor, so I probably won't read all out because I don't think we've all got that much time on our hands for this bullshit. So I'm just going to show you the very narcissistic part of Mason Fido. So he goes on to message me, this was Christmas morning, basically to say that in 2024 he reckons he's going to have 10-fold more followers than me overnight. He tries to rub Clark in my face when I haven't actually spoken to Clark for a while now. He then goes on to mention SJ. I don't know what that means. And then right at the bottom, he goes on to say, "Oh, I'd hate to be you. So sad. I feel sorry for you. I really do. And to top it all, I saved your voice note. So every time before an audition, I listen to him and I buzz off it. And you drive me to success. Love you." Now, I hadn't seen Mason for about 7 years when he sent me this message. So you can imagine I was like, okay, that's a bit freaky. Then he sent me another message, again mentioning other people within the film industry. Some of these people I don't actually know who he's talking about because I don't know them. Basically, he's trying to pull other people into the problem. He's basically saying no one wanted anything to do with me, that I've made false allegations against people. One day you might walk away from this industry because you don't belong here. I won't tolerate bullying from behind a screen or fake accounts from anyone. You will see that I'm about to show you that's exactly what he's doing. So that's projection there. I can't imagine how horrible it must be to be so hated for what you have become. I got everything on you. You got 7 days to remove all your shitty lying videos on YouTube. So the reason I ended up having to go to the police was because Mason had put out a post online trying to obtain my address. He was asking any random weirdo out there if they knew where I lived. He made up some story to say that his barrister wanted my address to hand me court papers. Like I say, that was a good 4 months ago now. I've not heard from any barrister. The barrister, he stated, doesn't actually exist. Neither does the office. So this was all a ploy just to try and get my address. This is the kind of man Mason Fido is. Not only that, he was seen a few months ago having a conversation with a woman called Louise Seaton, who suggested Mason needs to pay me a visit. You steal another pic? Well, you have had the notice proven, and thanks for posting it. My legal team will be in touch. Stealing photos, Mason? That's another bit of a projection there, isn't it? It's you that steals photos, like this one from Refid that you tried to make out was for another film. I think you've worn this suit for 3 films now, haven't you? So that message was sent to me about 6 months ago. No legal teams have been in touch. I have in fact got a police investigation that's been transferred over to Kent Police now. They've actually had a word with Mason, and apparently he denied everything. And yet you've got all this evidence that's online and in my files. So I've basically been told to just keep collecting and building a case. But today, it's not about that. Today is about proving narcissism and how 50-year-old men really shouldn't speak to women. You know, if you don't like a woman, then just leave her alone. I mean, to message her all this degrading stuff and trying to make her feel shit about herself, that's pretty abusive behaviour. As you can see here, this was another message that was left on my YouTube channel. He's mentioning Charlene again. He does this quite a lot, trying to bring this lady Charlene into things. I don't know Charlene. We've had a bit of a disagreement, you could say, online when she got involved in some of the bullying. But I don't think she realised the extent of what was actually going on, to be fair. And she's not really done anything since. So I'm not going to bring her up anymore. Some of the flying monkeys have kind of realised what's going on, I think, and they've chosen not to be a part of it, which I appreciate. Unfortunately, you still get people like this Hayley Spain Mortinho, or whatever her name is, that does like to target victims for abusers. They're the kind of women that will do anything for male validation, unfortunately. But yeah, then he goes on to speak about, again, Lisa Martins. I don't know who that is, telling me to look at someone's wall. He basically said, if my kids turn out like you, I'd be ashamed. Go on Lisa Martin's wall or Andy's, you'll see what everyone is saying. And anyone who watches this will see your side of the story is delusional. Truly, your time has come. They won't interact with you or lose sleep over a dirty brass who's on drugs. How about Tenerife? You can't go there either, even if you could afford it, as you're a wanted woman there. You're known to the police for being a liar, always making false allegations. So again, one, I've never been to Tenerife, so I have no idea what that's about. Two, I don't have a criminal record. And three, the police have known me for being a liar. Like, no, not at all. The police heard my rape story. They literally said they didn't think I was lying. They said, it's not that we don't believe you. They just didn't have enough evidence. That doesn't make me a liar. What it does make Mason, though, is a disgusting piece of shit that would target rape victims for his mates.
I'm not saying you weren't raped. I'm not saying you've not told the truth. I'm saying as a rape prosecution, there isn't sufficient evidence to prosecute. That's very different to what you're saying I'm saying. What you're implying is that we don't believe you. That's not the case.
And again, here you can see this is Mason's other account. There are links and stuff on this account that did prove it was to Mason. And again, you can read it. It's basically trying to get people not to work with me. Here he put up a status on his Facebook trying to get people not to work with me, slagging off my latest project. He then went around contacting cast members to try and get them to not be on the film and walk away from me. Here again, he's put up posts about me, trying to slag me off, make me out to be a really bad person. And again here, and then he's got his friend Andy, who I've never met, to do exactly the same thing. When you go on Facebook and you see all these people on each other's Facebooks liking stuff and that, it's quite easy to tell who's connected with each other. So yeah, the only thing I can think of is Mason is doing all of this. These people would not know me to come at me and be snooping on my walls and stuff if it wasn't for him slagging me off. And you can see it here. These are just a handful of the screenshots I have. If I was to share everything, we would be here for hours. And I just don't understand how everybody can think Mason is such a sweet guy when you can quite blatantly see how he speaks to people that he doesn't like or he doesn't want around. And like I say, you don't get to stamp your feet and tell me who I can and can't work with, or if I get to be in the industry or not. For the last 4 years, I've been working really hard on my production company, and I've been helping a lot of people out and making a lot of good network, building showreels and that for people. And it's been so much fun. There's so many good people within the industry, but for some reason, since the Roofed film and this little click through the Dave Courtney people, there's some really nasty people that just can't let things go. And the main person of that is Mason Fardo. So that's why I'm doing these videos on him. I am not obsessed with a man that's old enough to be my father. He says things to me like, oh, you really up yourself, and you really think you're great, you really think... Well, yeah, from where I've come from, Mason, I actually do, mate. And I think it's you that has the problem with my growth. We can all see why now, can't we? So you keep up your little games and you keep sending your little flying monkeys my way, and I can prove that you're all connected. And we'll just keep playing your little game until one day you slip up. And there's not many people that have the balls to turn around and say to Mason, "Why are you doing that, Mason? Why are you saying those things to a woman?" But yeah, they're all cut from the same cloth. I separate salt and sugar, and if I see any of that kind of monstrous, abusive, egotistical, I think I'm hard, or the type of woman that likes to stick up for an abuser and call a victim a liar without actually knowing both sides, you're not my kind of people. And I'd prefer it if you didn't follow me or snoop in my stories. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for listening. I don't really want to carry on with the negativity or giving them the airtime because they don't deserve it. I believe they're actually doing this because they know that I've got filming and this production coming up, and they're basically just trying to be a pain in the arse. That's what the narcissist does. So the best way to deal with them is grey rock. I just wanted to prove, when I catch a monkey, I love to show people, because it can sound a little bit mad, that you say, oh, all these people that keep like teaming up for this guy and messaging me out of the blue and threatening me and that lot. And people are like, but why? Why would someone do that? And then you've got Mason himself on the fake accounts pretending to be people that have got his back. That can be quite draining. You'll be sitting at home at night, or Boxing Day last time when he did it, it's just insane. So I'm showing people exactly what this guy's like. He's not a Hollywood superstar who's going places. He's an angry little man that takes his anger out on me. All because I walked away from him and his mate Clark Tribe in 2017. And if you don't believe me, there's enough evidence on my YouTube channel to show the story. And there's enough evidence with their history to show exactly the people that they are. They don't get to call me a bad person and put me down when I know their story. I know they've been inside for murder. I know they've been inside for attempted murder. And the leader of their gang's online saying that he'd rather be a rapist than a grass. But the leader that was keeping this group together died a couple of years ago. So a lot of it has dispersed now. But the people that started it all those years ago are still in the game. So a quick summary. I met Clark Tribe in 2017 along with his friend Mason Fardo. I fell out with them both in 2017 and didn't continue to work with them. Since then, they have sent many strangers my way by making up lies about me, telling people that I am the most awful person in the world and that I shouldn't be in the film industry. Mason and Clark do not own the film industry. They don't get to say who can be in it and who can't. Since then, they've done everything they can to connect with people that connect with me to try and get them to not work with me. And all the evidence is on my YouTube channel.